So, if you're someone who starts your day with coffee, well, you're part of a massive global club. We drink it to feel more awake, right? But if you ever really stop to ask, is this morning ritual secretly wrecking my sleep at night? The answer is probably not what you think. Let's get into the surprising science behind our daily habit.
I mean, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We hear it all the time. Don't drink that afternoon coffee. It's going to ruin your sleep. But is that really what's happening? Especially for those of us who've been drinking it for years and years.
So, on one side, you have the common belief, plain and simple, caffeine is the bad guy, the sleep killer. But on the other side, the scientific reality, especially for us regular, habitual drinkers, is way more complicated. It's really not this simple good versus evil story.
And look, this really matters because we're talking about a huge number of people. About 80% of the entire world's population has some form of caffeine every single day. So figuring out what it's actually doing is pretty important for, well, almost all of us.
Okay, so let's tackle this daily caffeine dilemma head on. It is time to unpack the myths that we've all heard from the actual, hard scientific reality.
To really get this, we first need to understand what's actually happening inside our brains. Think of this as a quick peek under the hood to see how this powerful little molecule really works its magic.
Okay, let's meet the main character in our story, a chemical called adenosine. While you're awake, your brain is working hard, and as it does, adenosine slowly builds up. This creates what scientists call sleep pressure. It's simple, really. The more adenosine you have floating around, the sleepier you start to feel.
So here's how it all goes down. Step 1, all day long, adenosine is building up, making you feel tired. Then, step 2, you drink some coffee. The caffeine molecule, which looks a whole lot like adenosine to your brain, swoops in and basically steals all the good parking spots, the adenosine receptors. And finally, step 3, with all the spots taken, adenosine can't deliver its sleepy message. The result? Your brain doesn't get the signal that it's tired and you feel alert.
All right, let's bust our first big myth. A lot of us worry that our daily caffeine habit is messing with our master body clock, our circadian rhythm, that it's shifting our natural sleep-wake cycle. But is that really true?
Well, to find out, scientists ran this really cool experiment. They took regular coffee drinkers and put them in a super-controlled lab. And here's the key. It was a randomized, double-blind study. That means neither the volunteers nor the researchers knew who was getting what. They tested 3 conditions: their normal daily caffeine, a placebo with 0 caffeine, and then they just stopped all caffeine completely, cold turkey.
Now, I know this graph might look a little complicated, but the story it tells is actually really simple. These lines track the hormones that control our internal clock. Just focus on the blue line, that's the group with daily caffeine, and the black line, which is the placebo. See that? They are practically right on top of each other. That tells us their body clocks weren't shifted at all. So what's the big takeaway here? For these regular drinkers, having their usual caffeine in the morning and afternoon didn't seem to disrupt their master body clock one bit. It just kept on ticking. So that myth that it throws your whole system out of whack, it just doesn't seem to hold up.
So if daily caffeine isn't the villain we thought it was, then what is the real story? Well, this is where the study revealed a pretty big plot twist, and it points to a completely different culprit: caffeine withdrawal.
Yeah, the most dramatic, most eye-opening results in this whole experiment didn't come from giving people caffeine. No, they came when they took it away. This is where things get really, really interesting.
This slide shows you exactly what I'm talking about. See that red line? That's the group in caffeine withdrawal. Look at how it just skyrockets. That's a massive jump in how sleepy they felt. And it wasn't just a feeling. The bottom graph shows they made way more mistakes on an attention test. Their performance just tanked.
And the evidence gets even stronger when you look at whether they could actually sleep. They gave them a chance to nap in the evening. In that withdrawal group, the red line again, they fell asleep way faster and got way more deep sleep. Their brains were practically screaming for rest. The sleep pressure was just overwhelming. I mean, just look at these numbers. They are absolutely stunning. The time it took to fall asleep, the other groups took around 25 to 28 minutes. The withdrawal group, just 12 minutes, less than half the time. They also slept longer and way more efficiently during that short nap. Withdrawal created this intense, undeniable need to sleep.
So, this brings us to the final, and maybe the most important question of all. We really need to rethink what that daily boost from our coffee is actually doing for us. And the researchers themselves explained it perfectly. Basically, our bodies are incredibly smart.
When you have caffeine every day, your brain just adapts. It creates a new normal, a new equilibrium that actually includes the caffeine. You build up a tolerance.
And here is the big aha moment, that amazing feeling of alertness you get from your first coffee of the day. It might not be you launching into some superhuman state of high performance. For a regular drinker, it's much more likely just the feeling of reversing the mild withdrawal you went through overnight. You're not getting a boost, you're just getting back to zero. And that really leaves us with a fascinating question to ask ourselves, doesn't it? Is your daily cup of coffee a genuine performance enhancer? Or has it just become a necessary ritual to stop feeling bad, to just feel normal? The science suggests it might be more of the second one than we'd like to admit. Definitely something to think about over your next cup.